I never thought love could hurt this much. Ayan, you're too kind, Hania said that morning, brushing her hair behind her ear. I smiled, trying to ignore the way her words always carried that little sigh, like she was settling for me. Kindness is enough for love, I told her, hoping she'd believe me. She laughed lightly. Sometimes, love isn't enough, you know. I frowned. What do you mean? She shrugged, looking away. I don't know if we're on the same page about the future. Her words didn't sting as much then. I thought she was joking. I always thought love could fix everything. That evening, I decided to surprise her at the university library. I'd saved up for a small gift, a token of how much I cared. I walked in, spotting her by the window, laughing with her friends. I paused, wanting to catch her attention. Hey, Hania. I waved. She turned, smiling faintly. Ayan. What a surprise. I stepped closer, holding the small wrapped box. I got this for you. Just, because I wanted to. She glanced at it, then at her friends, and whispered something. My heart sank as I caught the words. He's too poor. Honestly, he's embarrassing. Not worth wasting my future on, she said, laughing. I froze. The words replayed in my mind, over and over. My fingers tightened around the gift. I couldn't move. Zara, one of her friends, giggled. Wow, Hania, that's harsh. Hania waved her off, I'm just being honest. He means well, but, well, you know. I stepped forward, trying to make sense of it. Hania, did you just say that? My voice shook. Her eyes widened slightly. I mean, I was joking. Right, Zara? Zara shrugged awkwardly. Sure. I stared at her. Joking? All this time, you were joking about me being too poor to deserve you? Hania looked down at her hands, then quickly back at me. I didn't mean it like that. I shook my head. No. You said it. You said I'm embarrassing, that I'm not worth your future. And I was too blind to see it before. She stepped closer. Ayan, please, I didn't mean to. I turned away, unable to look at her anymore. My chest ached, every breath heavy. You know what? Don't. Just, don't. Walking away, I felt a strange calm mixed with the sting of betrayal. I realized I had loved someone who never truly valued me. I realized my heart had been holding on to a lie. Her voice called after me. Ayan, wait. Please. I didn't stop. I couldn't. The air felt lighter with every step I took away from her. And as I walked, I whispered to myself, I don't need your love, Hania. I need someone who sees me, truly sees me. That night, I sat alone, holding the small gift I never gave her. It didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that I finally saw her for who she really was. And in that moment, something inside me broke forever, but also, something inside me began to awaken. I called her 3 times that day. No answer. I sent 5 messages. Nothing. By evening, I was pacing my small apartment, muttering to myself. Hania, please, just tell me what's wrong. The phone buzzed finally. I froze, heart racing. It was a text, sorry, busy tonight. Busy. Busy with him. I knew it. I left my apartment without thinking, walking toward the cafe I knew she sometimes visited. My hands shook when I pushed the door open. There she was, laughing, no, glowing, with a boy I'd never seen before. His suit screamed money. His smile was confident. He put his arm around her. I stepped closer. Hania. She turned, startled. Ayan. What are you doing here? I tried to steady my voice. I just wanted to see you. Talk. She laughed softly, looking down at Saad. Oh, we're just having coffee. I looked at him. He smirked. Step aside, kid. This is between us. I gritted my teeth. I'm not stepping anywhere. Hania, talk to me. Please. She looked at me, eyes cool, almost amused. Ayan, grow up. Love can't pay bills. You can't give me the life I want. I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. Excuse me? What do you mean? Saad leaned back, clearly enjoying this. You hear that, buddy? She wants someone who can actually give her something. I swallowed, trying not to shake. Hania, is this true? Are you really saying that? She didn't hesitate. Yes. I mean, look at your life. I can't be with someone who's struggling all the time. I need stability, security. You can't give me that. I felt the ground slip under my feet. I wanted to scream, to hit something, to demand why she didn't see me, the hours I worked, the sacrifices I made, but all I could do was breathe. Even after everything. Everything we had. My voice cracked. She shrugged. It's nothing personal. I need more than what you can offer. I glanced at Saad again. He whispered something, and she laughed, a laugh I would never forget. My chest tightened, my stomach twisted. I couldn't believe this was real. I stepped forward, desperation rising. Hania, please. Just talk to me. Help me understand. Don't do this. Please. She looked at me like I was a stranger. I am doing this, Ayan. I have to. Don't make it harder. I clenched my fists. I thought you loved me. She smiled faintly. I did. But love isn't everything. You'll understand someday. Maybe. I turned to leave, but the words stuck in my throat. Someday, when it's too late, maybe. The cafe staff watched quietly. No one intervened. I felt invisible, swallowed by the weight of betrayal. As I walked home alone, the cold night air hit my face. I couldn't see, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The lights of the city blurred into one unrecognizable mass. My phone buzzed again, another text from her, hope you're okay. I laughed bitterly, a sound I barely recognized. Okay. I wasn't okay. Nothing could ever make me okay again. That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the wall, feeling empty. I whispered into the silence, you left me, for him. For money. For security. And somehow, I have to keep breathing. I realized, in that moment, that my heart had shattered more than I ever thought possible. And the person I loved, the one I trusted completely, had done it. Smiling. Laughing. Without a hint of regret. I curled up, hugging my knees, and let the tears fall. For the first time, I felt completely, utterly alone. I thought losing Hania would hurt for a few days and fade, but it didn't. Every morning felt heavy. Every night felt empty. I dragged myself to work, half alive, barely breathing. Boss, I'm trying, I said one morning when I messed up an order. He cut me off. Ayan, what's going on with you? You weren't like this. I lowered my head. I'm just tired. Tired won't pay your bills, he warned. I nodded silently, knowing he was right. But I couldn't feel anything except the weight in my chest. When I got home, my mother called weakly from her room. Ayan, can you get my medicine? I don't feel good. I rushed to her. Ami, what happened? Are you okay? She shook her head. Just pain again, it's getting worse. I panicked. I'm taking you to the hospital. Right now. At the hospital, the doctor frowned at the chart. Her condition needs treatment. It won't be cheap. I swallowed hard. Do whatever you have to. I'll figure it out. But I didn't figure it out. My savings disappeared in 3 days. Everything I worked for, gone in a blink. That night, Aram came over and dropped onto the couch beside me. Bro, you look like you haven't slept in weeks. I stared at the floor. Maybe I haven't. He nudged my shoulder. Talk to me. What's happening inside that head? I laughed bitterly. Inside my head. Just noise. Just pain. Ayan, he said gently, you deserve better than what she did to you. I shook my head. Do I? Maybe she was right. Maybe I'm not worth anything. I couldn't even protect my own mother without losing everything. He grabbed my arm. Stop. You're not worthless. You're hurt. Big difference. I looked away. Doesn't feel like it. Aram sighed. Look, I can't fix your life. But I won't let you drown alone. His words warmed something inside me, but the warmth faded the moment he left. Later that night, I sat on the floor of my room, scrolling through old photos of me and Hania. Each picture stabbed me. Me smiling like a fool. Her smiling like she owned the world. I whispered, was any of this real? In the photos, I saw the truth I wasn't ready to face. She never looked at me the way I looked at her. She never held my hand with the same fear of losing me. I was a convenience, a step toward something better. My chest tightened until I couldn't breathe. Tears hit my hands, one after another. I pressed my palms to my face. Why wasn't I enough? No answer. Just silence and a broken heart. I stared at her picture again. You left me because I was poor. Because I couldn't give you the life you wanted. My hands shook, not from sadness this time, but something else, anger. Resolve. A spark I thought I'd lost. I wiped my tears. Fine. I stood slowly, like someone rising after being buried. If money was the reason, then poverty will be the first thing I destroy. The room felt different. My breathing steadied. I looked at the mirror. My eyes were swollen, but I saw something new in them, fire. I whispered to my reflection, I won't stay broken. Not for her. Not for anyone. The pain didn't disappear, but it changed shape. It hardened into purpose. Into fuel. Into something sharp and alive. When my mother called softly, Ayan. Are you okay? I walked to her room and held her hand. I'm okay, Emmy. I promise you, I will fix everything. For you. For us. She smiled weakly. You've always been strong. I shook my head. No, but I will be now. That night, as I lay in the dark, the old Ayan died quietly, without a sound. And a new version of me began to breathe, one who would rebuild everything I lost, not to win Hania back, but to make sure no one would ever look down on me again. Bro, you should apply, Aram said, shaking his phone in my face. A foreign tech company is opening here. They're giving free training programs. You'd kill it. I rubbed my temples. Aram. I don't know. I barely have time, and what if I fail? He smirked. Fail? You. Ayan, come on. You're stronger than you think. Besides, what do you have to lose? I've lost plenty already, I muttered. Exactly. This is your chance to rebuild, man. Just go. I hesitated but finally nodded. Fine. I'll apply. The next day, I walked into a sleek office building, feeling completely out of place. Everyone wore suits or pressed shirts. My jeans and old shoes felt like a uniform for failure. A voice called out sharply. Ayan. Step forward. I turned and saw him, Rehan, the mentor. Tall, sharp eyes, posture like a soldier. You're here for the training program? Yes, sir, I said, swallowing. Good. Don't waste my time. I expect effort. Pain is not an excuse, it's fuel. Use it. I blinked. Sir. He glanced at me like I was slow. Your pain. Your heartbreak. Channel it. Let it make you better, not weaker. I nodded, unsure but feeling something stir inside me. During the first week, everything felt impossible. Tasks I thought I could handle tripped me up. One afternoon, a teammate whispered, "I don't think he's ready for this." I clenched my fists. Maybe I'm not, I muttered. Rehan walked by, overhearing. Maybe you're not. Or maybe you're just scared. The choice is yours. I spent the next nights barely sleeping, working on assignments while my small room smelled like instant noodles and despair. "Why are you still here?" a teammate asked once. Most quit after a week. I looked up, tired but defiant. Because I have nothing left to lose. And I won't fail. Rehan passed again. Good. That's the spirit. Remember, your pain is your fuel. Use it. Don't waste it. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Every failure burned, but every small success healed a little. I started to understand what he meant. Pain could be power. I learned to think faster, act smarter, push harder. 6 months later, we were in the final selection. Only 3 people would join a special international business project. My hands shook as they called the names. Aram. I don't know if I can. Shut up and listen, he laughed. They announced the first name, then the second. My heart thumped like it wanted to escape my chest. And the final spot goes to Ayan. I froze. Me? Rehan nodded, eyes calm but approving. You earned it. Hard work, focus, and your willingness to turn pain into power. Congratulations. I looked at my teammates, who clapped politely. I barely heard them. Inside, something cracked open, a feeling I hadn't known in years. Aram punched my shoulder. See? I told you, man. You're not done yet. This is just the beginning. I exhaled, finally allowing a small smile. Hope. I feel hope again. Rehan walked past, quietly. Don't get comfortable. The world isn't kind, but neither are you anymore. Remember, what got you here is only the start. I nodded. I understand, sir. I won't waste it. That night, I sat on my small balcony, the city lights flickering below. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like a broken man. I felt alive. I whispered to myself, this is it. I'm not the same Ayan who lost everything. This time. I'm in control. I stepped off the plane, suitcase in one hand, heart hammering in the other. Okay, Ayan, you've got this, I muttered to myself. Aram laughed behind me. You sound like you're talking to a child. I am a child here, I shot back, trying to smile. Everything's new. Everyone's so sharp. Exactly why you belong here, he said. The first few days were terrifying. Investors with crisp suits and sharper eyes stared at me during meetings. I kept my voice steady, but inside, my stomach was in knots. During one briefing, Rehan leaned over. Relax, Ayan. Speak with confidence. You know your stuff. I know, sir, but. No buts. Speak like you belong. I cleared my throat. All right. Thank you, sir. I started slowly, learning how to pitch, how to present data, how to talk to investors without looking like a kid who lost his parents' money. At lunch, a teammate nudged me. "You're improving fast. You didn't freak out today once." I shrugged. "It's getting easier. I guess I'm learning." Rayhan appeared beside us. "Learning isn't enough. You need to master it. Lead. Don't follow. That's why I'm giving you leadership of this project team." My eyes widened. "Me? Sir, I don't know if I'm ready." He looked straight at me. "You're ready because you have no choice. If you fail quietly. If you succeed, the world notices. Choose." I swallowed and nodded. "I choose to try." Weeks turned into months. I traveled from city to city, presenting ideas, meeting investors, learning every nuance of this foreign market. At first, I stuttered. This product, we hope." Rayhan snapped once. "Say it like you own it." I took a deep breath. "This product is designed to solve your problem. It's efficient, reliable, and profitable." Investors nodded. "Interesting. Can you give figures?" I pulled up charts, numbers flowing smoothly. Confidence sparked in me, small but real. "Here's the forecast. We project a 30% growth in the first quarter." One investor raised an eyebrow. "Bold. Do you have the team to back it?" I looked around at my colleagues. "We do. I trust them, and I trust the plan." After the meeting, Rayhan clapped me on the back. "See? You're growing. Keep this up." The months blurred, late nights, early mornings, endless spreadsheets. One night, alone in my hotel room, I whispered, "Ayan, this is it. You're finally moving forward." I signed documents for bonuses, shares, and recognition, but no one needed to know yet. Not until the right time, I told myself. At a small celebration with the team, a colleague nudged me. "You're quiet. Aren't you proud?" I smiled faintly. Inside, yes. But this is just the start. We're building something real. Aram raised his glass. "To Ayan. Quietly taking over the world." I laughed softly. Quietly. That's the key. Late one night, as I stared at the ceiling, a memory hit me, Hania, laughing with Saad, calling me, too poor. My chest tightened, old anger and hurt bubbling up. I whispered into the darkness, "I don't want revenge, not yet. But someday, maybe I'll need closure." A part of me still remembered her words vividly, but another part of me, stronger, sharper, knew I had bigger battles now. Not to prove her wrong, but to prove to myself I could rise. The product launched, and it was a hit. Locally, people started noticing. Investors smiled, team members congratulated me, but I kept my pride private. Every day, I repeated, "No one needs to know yet. Not until the right time." Inside, I felt the old emptiness fading. Confidence replaced doubt. Pain turned into fuel. Every email I sent, every presentation I made, I whispered to myself, "Ayan, you're not the same boy she walked over. You're stronger. You're alive." I leaned back in my chair, staring out at the city lights from my apartment. For the first time in years, I felt a quiet peace. Hope. Purpose. Fire. And though part of me still remembered Hania's words, they no longer had the power to break me. Not anymore. I stared at the email on my laptop, numbers glowing brighter than I ever imagined. Aram. I did it. The startup's first quarter revenue doubled. He laughed over the call. "You're a walking miracle, Ayan. From that kid with nothing to this. Unreal." I smiled faintly. "Feels unreal to me too. Like I'm living someone else's life. Good unreal or bad unreal, he asked. Good, I said slowly. But, it still feels strange. From not enough, to more than enough. Months passed in a blur. I invested carefully, small properties, shares, tech ventures. Every project seemed to thrive under my hands. I told myself it wasn't luck, it was focus, pain turned into fuel. One afternoon, I met a real estate agent to view a mansion. This property, it's perfect. Quiet neighborhood, privacy, security, he said. I ran a hand over the keys. I don't want show, just peace. He smiled politely. For someone like you, peace will be enough. I nodded, ignoring the pride in his tone. Inside, I only wanted quiet. My mother's room in my new home was my priority. Amy, come see, I called as she entered the living room. Her eyes widened, tears forming instantly. You bought all this? She whispered, voice shaking. I took her hands. Yes, Amy. For you. For us. She hugged me tightly. Ayan. I never imagined this, my son, my baby boy. I held her, letting her cry. Her pride felt heavier than any mansion or account balance. Aram visited the next week, grinning like a fool. So, you're officially a legend. Tell me, Ayan, how does it feel to be untouchable? I laughed softly. Untouchable, maybe. But it still feels empty sometimes. Inside, you know. He nodded. Yeah, I get it. But you're healing. Slowly. You're reclaiming yourself. I am, I admitted. But there's a shadow I can't shake. He raised an eyebrow. Hania? I didn't answer immediately. Yes. I don't want revenge, not humiliation, just, to see her. To show her what she lost. Aram shrugged. Fair. You've earned it, Ayan. Not to gloat, just closure. The thought lingered in my mind. Hania. The girl who once told me I was too poor. The girl who laughed at my struggle. I walked through my mansion, noting the silence, the open space. Builders called out instructions, setting the final touches. Everything perfect, sir? One asked. I smiled faintly. Yes, perfect. At night, I stood on the balcony, looking over the quiet streets. My life glittered outside, cars, lights, walls I never dreamed I'd have, but inside, the ache lingered. Not regret, just memory. 2 years ago, I couldn't even imagine this, I whispered to the night. And now. I control everything. Every corner, every project, every choice. The realization hit me, power. Real, tangible, undeniable. But the true test wasn't in wealth or fame. It was in knowing I could meet my past, not break, not stumble, but stand tall. I walked to my study, opening a drawer with old photos of Hania. I stared at her face, laughing, careless, unaware of what she lost. I don't want revenge, I said quietly. I just want her to know. I became more than what she thought I'd ever be. More than enough. Aram called again. You ready for the next step, Ayan? I looked out the window at the quiet mansion, lights flickering gently. Yes, I said, voice firm. I'm ready. Inside, I felt a strange calm, a mix of pride, anticipation, and lingering pain. I was rich, respected, and finally in control, but the closure I needed would come from facing her. Not to humiliate, just to reclaim the part of me I'd lost. The mansion felt alive now, not just walls and furniture, but a reflection of me, strong, unshakable, unstoppable. And soon, Hania would see the full measure of what she had let slip away. I stepped out of my mansion gate, breathing in the quiet afternoon air. The sun hit the driveway just right, and for a moment, I felt that strange calm again, the one that comes after years of struggle and finally standing tall. Ayan. The voice stopped me mid-step. Shaky. Familiar. I froze, heart skipping. I turned slowly. And there she was. Hania. Older. Tired. Lost in a way I hadn't imagined. Hania. I said, voice low, steady despite the shock. She blinked, like she was seeing me for the first time. I need to talk to you. I didn't move. I just watched. She took a hesitant step forward. I sawed, he cheated on me. Left me. Her voice broke. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I stayed silent. No words. No reaction. Just quiet, letting her spill everything she carried. I thought I needed someone like him, someone wealthy, and she choked. I hurt you. I hurt myself. I don't know how to fix any of it. I inhaled slowly. Hania, that's in the past. Her eyes widened. It is. This, your house, is this, yours? I nodded, calmly, deliberately. Yes. Her mouth opened, then closed. She stared, like she couldn't process it. Her hands trembled slightly. I can't believe it. How did you? I shrugged, letting the silence speak. I didn't need to explain. She saw. She understood. She tried to smile, small, nervous, almost desperate. Maybe we can start over. I didn't answer. Not immediately. My heart twisted, not in longing, not in love, but in clarity. This was karma. This was closure. Listen, I said finally, voice quiet but firm. I'm not the same Ayan you left behind. I've built my life, without you. Her face fell. I thought. I never thought I'd see you like this. Successful, strong, everything I ignored. I met her gaze steadily. And you ignored it. You left me because I wasn't enough. You chose him. And now, you see what you lost. Tears formed in her eyes. I regret it. I can't. I held up a hand. Don't. Regret won't change the past. It won't bring back what was lost. She swallowed hard. So, you're angry? Not angry, I said slowly. Clear. I'm clear. I've moved on, Hania. I'm not here to punish you. I'm here to live my life. Her lips trembled. I wanted to warn you. I never wanted this to happen. You didn't warn me. You left me. That was your choice. She hung her head. I understand now. I only came because I wanted closure. Then you have it, I said firmly. Seeing me, standing here, knowing that I'm more than you thought I'd ever be, that's closure for you. Don't mistake it for a second chance. It's not. She nodded slowly, tears streaming. I deserved none of this. I stepped back toward my gate, signaling the security guard to remain calm. No one does. Life has its ways of teaching lessons. Yours just arrived a little late. She whispered, I hope you're happy. I am, I said, my voice soft but unyielding. And I always will be. She lingered a moment longer, looking at me as if trying to memorize the man I had become, before finally turning away. I watched her go, feeling no triumph, no bitterness. Only peace. I closed the gate gently behind her, the echo of her footsteps fading. I whispered to myself, quietly, as I stood alone on my driveway, this this is closure. The chapter is over. The boy who was broken, is gone. And I am free. The sun dipped lower, shadows stretching across the lawn. I breathed in the evening air and smiled faintly. Inside, I felt it, power, peace, and clarity. I had won the battle that mattered most, over my own past. Hania's voice trembled as she called again. Ayan, please, just, talk to me. I stood by the balcony, sunlight bouncing off the marble floor. I didn't move. I let her words hang in the air. She came closer, tears streaking her face. I'm sorry, Ayan. I left because I was scared. Scared of the future. I thought I needed him to have the life I wanted. I stayed silent, listening. Let her spill it all. Her words felt strange, familiar, yet powerless now. I never stopped thinking about you, she continued, voice breaking. I made a mistake, the biggest mistake of my life. I exhaled slowly. Hania, do you think saying sorry fixes everything? She shook her head, sniffing. No, but I had to tell you. I had to beg for your forgiveness, even if I don't deserve it. I stepped back, arms crossed. Go on. Say what you need to say. I'll listen. She took a shaky breath. Do you still love me? I looked at her directly, feeling no anger, only clarity. I loved you when I had nothing. You left because I had nothing. Now I have everything, and I have nothing left for you. Her hands flew to her mouth. Ayan. Stop, I said softly. Don't say anything more. Not because I hate you, because I don't. Not a bit. She blinked, confusion and hope clashing in her eyes. Then you forgive me? I shook my head gently. Forgiveness isn't needed. Closure is. You showed me my lowest point, Hania. Without that pain, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have fought, built, or risen. For that, I thank you. Her knees weakened slightly, and she sank onto the steps, burying her face in her hands. I don't deserve this. A chance. I deserve a second chance, don't I? I knelt slightly beside her, not touching, just observing. No. Not for you. You don't get a second chance with me. Not because I hate you, because I don't. I get a second chance with myself. You had your shot, when I had nothing, and you walked away. That chapter is closed. She lifted her head, tears streaming freely. I thought, maybe you'd feel the same. Maybe we could start over. I shook my head, firm, calm. We can't. Not starting over. Not now, not ever. I don't need to punish you, Hania. Life punished itself. I got stronger. I got everything I needed, because you left. That's all the closure I need. She whispered, voice cracking. So, that's it. You don't hate me? No hate, I said quietly. I feel gratitude, actually. Gratitude for the lessons you gave me. For the fire you lit in me when you thought I was nothing. I am free now, truly free. Her sobs quieted as she processed my words. She looked at me, eyes red, soul stripped bare. I'm sorry. For everything. I know, I said softly. And that's enough. Leave now, go live your life. Learn your own lessons. She nodded slowly, finally standing. She turned toward the gate, hands trembling. I hope you're happy, Ayan. I truly hope you are. I am, I said, voice firm but calm. More than I ever imagined. And I will be, without you. Her steps echoed across the driveway, fading with every pace. I watched her go, chest lighter than it had been in years. No bitterness. No longing. Just peace. I leaned against the balcony railing, inhaling the evening air. The sun was dipping below the horizon, golden and calm. A soft breeze whispered past me, carrying away the remnants of old pain. I'm free, I whispered again, quieter this time. Free from her, free from the boy I was, free from everything that held me down. For the first time, the weight on my chest lifted completely. My life, my struggles, my rise, it all felt real, solid, mine. No one could take this from me now. Not Hania. Not the past. Not the pain. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled fully, without hesitation, without shadow. The night fell gently, stars flickering above my mansion. Inside, I was still. Calm. Strong. Free. I leaned back in my study chair, staring at the city lights flickering below. Years had passed since Hania, since heartbreak, since everything that almost broke me. Proud of yourself, huh? Aram's voice came over the phone. I smiled faintly. I am. But proud isn't the right word. I'm grateful. For the journey. For everything I survived. He chuckled. Grateful, huh? Never thought I'd hear you sound so calm about all this. Revenge never healed me, I said softly. Not money, not success, not showing her what she lost. Growth did. Learning to stand alone. Learning to fight for myself. Sounds like someone finally found peace, Aram teased. Peace, yes. But more than that, purpose. I paused. That's why I started the charity. Why I want to help students who feel trapped, like I once did. Scholarships, mentorships, guidance, you really went all in. I nodded, imagining the young faces. I want them to know it's possible. To rise from nothing. To find their strength. Every student we help, that's a piece of my own pain turned into something meaningful. One of the charity members, a young woman named Sana, called me the other day. Mr. Ayan, one of our scholarship students just got admitted to a top university. He said he owes everything to your program. I smiled, warm and quiet. Tell him. I'm proud. And that he has everything he needs inside him already. We just opened the door. Another evening, I visited a small classroom, talking to a group of students struggling with exams, family problems, and self-doubt. Listen, I said, leaning against the desk. I know what it's like to feel like the world's against you. To feel you're not enough. I've been there. I was there. But I survived. And so can you. One boy raised his hand timidly. But, what if we fail? I looked at him squarely. Failure isn't the end. It's proof that you tried. That you risked. That you fought. The only failure is giving up before you even start. The students nodded, some whispering thanks. I felt a weight lift, an old ache replaced with warmth. My life finally had meaning beyond money, beyond status. Later that evening, I passed the same cafe where Hania once laughed at me with Saad. My steps slowed. I could see the table where they had sat, still casual, bustling as always. A soft smile touched my lips. Not pride. Not triumph. Just, peace. Funny, I whispered under my breath. I don't need to win anymore. I don't need to prove anything. I let go, and finally, I'm free. I leaned against the railing outside the cafe, watching people pass, chatting, laughing. Life went on. And so did I. Aram called again. So, what now? Mansion, success, charity, what's next? I thought for a moment. Living. Helping. Building. Not for revenge. Not for recognition. Just, for me and for the people who need a hand to rise. He laughed softly. You've come a long way, Ayan. I have, I admitted. From the boy who thought love and money were all that mattered, to the man who knows strength, purpose, and resilience matter more. Everything else is just icing. That night, I walked home from the charity office, city lights reflecting in my eyes. I felt grounded, light, alive. My journey, every heartbreak, every struggle, every sleepless night, had led me here. I reached the cafe one last time, looking at it quietly. Thank you, I whispered. For showing me what I didn't want, and helping me find what I truly needed. I turned away, walking past the laughter, past memories, past the boy I used to be. My life wasn't about Hania. It wasn't about revenge. It was about me. About building, surviving, thriving. About using the pain that once crushed me to lift others. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled fully, freely. Not because I had won, but because I had finally let go. The night wrapped around me softly. Calm. Quiet. And I walked into it, strong, alive, and free. I stood on the balcony, the last rays of the sun painting the sky in gold and orange. The city below buzzed quietly, unaware of the battles I'd fought and won inside myself. Beautiful, isn't it? Aram's voice came through my phone speaker. I smiled softly. It is. Makes you realize, peace is worth everything you suffer for. He laughed. You finally sound calm. Not bitter. Not angry. Calm, I repeated, letting the words sink in. I never thought I'd feel it. Not after everything. But here I am. Watching the sunset, and feeling nothing but rightness. Aram chuckled again. So, what are you thinking about now? I glanced at my mother, sitting quietly in the living room, reading. She looked up and smiled warmly. Just, life, I said aloud. All of it. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every sleepless night. It brought me here. To this moment. He was silent for a moment. Hania? I exhaled slowly. Not with pain, not with longing. Just calm. She lost me when she thought she was winning. That's all. Aram paused. And, do you regret it? I shook my head. Never. Losing her was the spark that burned the old me away. The boy who needed approval, love, and acceptance, he died the day she left. What was born from that pain is stronger, wiser, and free. A gentle breeze passed over me, rustling the leaves in the garden below. You know, I whispered, I don't need revenge. I don't need to prove anyone wrong. Not her. Not anyone. I only needed to prove myself right. That I could survive, rise, and create a life worth living. You've come a long way, Ayan, Aram said softly. I have, I admitted. And I will keep going. For me. For my mother. For the people I help. Every step forward is a reminder that I am in control of my life, not the people who doubted me. My mother called from inside. Dinner's ready, Ayan. Come join us. I smiled, watching her for a moment. Coming, Alma, I replied. My heart was light, full, at peace. I had no lingering regrets. No bitterness. Only strength and clarity. Do you ever think about the past? Aram asked again. Sometimes, I said, leaning on the railing. But only to remind myself how far I've come. That the pain I endured wasn't wasted. It became my foundation, my fuel. Every challenge made me stronger, every betrayal sharper, every loss, a lesson. Aram chuckled. Sounds like you've built an empire out of heartbreak. I laughed softly. Not an empire of money, or fame. An empire of life. Of self-respect, of growth, of peace. I wake up every day choosing me. That's all I need. The sun finally dipped below the horizon, leaving streaks of purple and deep blue. Stars started to appear, tiny points of light in the vast sky. I whispered to myself, a soft vow, some people lose you when they think they are winning. But I found myself when I was losing everything. I turned away from the balcony, letting the night embrace me. The mansion, the wealth, the recognition, all symbols of my rise, were nothing without the peace I felt inside. Good night, Alma, I called softly. Good night, world. Aram laughed quietly on the phone. Sleep well, my friend. You've earned it. I put the phone down, my gaze lingering on the stars. The boy I was, broken and desperate, was gone. In his place stood a man forged by fire, pain, and perseverance. A man who chose himself above all else. And in that stillness, I realized the journey wasn't about revenge, or proving her wrong, or even showing the world. It was about becoming the man I always wanted to be. I smiled genuinely, finally, fully. Free from the past. Free from the expectations of others. Free from the weight I had carried for so long. The night felt gentle, endless, promising. And for the first time in my life, I felt I was exactly where I was meant to be.